Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Michael Alm here. So I am back on patterned plywood. And if you saw last week's video, you would have seen me make all these different panels and they are of different patterns. So this is the chevron pattern, the diamond pattern, and the basket weave. One question that I got over and over again in the comments, and I can't believe I didn't answer this in the video, is what kind of plywood I used. And this stuff is called Baltic birch plywood. You usually can't find it at a big box store, but it's really commonly stocked at lumber yards. So hopefully you can find it in your area. This week, I'm gonna be turning all these panels into something, and my plan is to turn them into storage trays. I'm gonna make a whole series of different designs with the different patterns, and I hope you stick around and see what I come up with. So I will be the first to admit that that is not the easiest glue up, and the reason is because that bottom piece kind of wants to slide upward. All I did was kind of wait until the glue got tacky enough to hold it, and it seems to work just fine. You just sort of have to be patient, and the backer board helped a lot too, having something to kind of push down into. Doing it again, and in later pieces I'll probably use a little bit of CA glue so that it locks it into place a little quicker. All right, so there you go. There's the first set, and I'm really happy with them. I like the walnut with the plywood. It looks really good. Definitely looks kind of basket-like, which is what I was going for with the wide sides. And then the cool thing is that if you've got a set of them, you can kind of stack them together like that and form little arrangements and stuff. So these could go over here. Anyway, you get the drift. Now I'm gonna move on to working with these panels, and for these I also have some extra glue ups that I need to use up, and I think they'll look really good as the trim edge. All right, so that glue up went way smoother, and I used CA glue on it, which helped a lot. The sides didn't want to slide up on me, so I'd recommend that. I've also got a discount code for the Starbond CA glue. I like this stuff a lot, and there is a link down in the description below. You just use AlmFab at checkout. All right, so I've got 3 more trays done and these look awesome. I'm really thrilled with them. I'm especially thrilled with this one. The one thing to note about this pattern is that you gotta be pretty careful when you sand it because you can pretty easily sand through the face veneers. It's like any sheet of plywood. If you sand too much, you end up going to the glue layer and it'll look terrible. So be careful with that. I've got 3 more panels left and these are probably the ones I'm most excited about. So I've got the diamond and the chevron, and then I glued a diamond to a chevron and it gives that cool optical illusion like the diamonds are emerging out of this. So what I think I'm gonna do is turn this into one unit, kind of like a toolbox. I'm gonna have it set like this, and then the pattern will open up to reveal itself. Okay, all 3 trays are made and sanded and the splines are in, which just reinforce the corners. When you put a piece of wood across a miter, it makes it much stronger. So that's the reason I did that. May not be necessary in this case because I've got the bottom panel and that sort of acts like a spline, but I figured since this is going to be moving, it's good to have a little extra reinforcement. Speaking of which, the mechanism that I'm going to be using to make these trays move is sort of like an old sewing box. You would see these sewing boxes where they have trays that lift up and over, and that really reveals the contents underneath. Measuring for the points for the pivot arms is pretty simple. Basically what you want to do is make a mark where you want the tray to start and make another mark where you want the tray to end up. Then you split those marks in half, find your midpoint, and then measure down the distance you want to set the pivot point in. In this case, it's 1/2 inch. I measured down 1/2 inch on the other tray as well, and the distance between this point and this point, that's the distance between this hole and this hole. When you go to attach the arm, you can inset that, and as long as these 2 pieces are parallel and the holes are at the same height, they should move together in tandem really nicely. So I've been debating between oil-based and water-based finish on this project, and the reason why is because I know that the walnut is gonna look a lot more rich with the oil-based, but I also know that the oil-based is gonna bring out a lot more contrast in the plywood. And honestly, I think I'm leaning towards water-based finish in this case, just because I like this muted tone and I don't want it to be too bold because the pattern's already loud enough. So I'm gonna go with water-based finish. If you're curious to learn more about my finishes and my finishing process, I'm gonna post a video in about a week or so outlining all the different finishes that I use in my shop and the reason why. So these are called Chicago screws. They have a cylinder that's threaded on the inside and a panhead screw that matches. This is what I'm going to be using for the lever arms to pivot on. I'm also going to be using thread locker on those threads so that they stay put. Real quick before you go, all of these pieces are for sale now. You can pick up one of these for yourself. They are for sale on eBay. I've posted a link to my website, and there you can see images of each individual one and pick up a tray for yourself. The reason I'm listing them is because I broke my camera lens while filming this, and I need to replace it. So those funds are going to help replace the camera lens so that I can create better video. So thank you very much for that, and thank you to my Patreon patrons who support me every month. If you want to support me directly, that is the best way to do it. Also, if you make a pattern plywood piece, please let me know about it on Instagram. I'd love to see it. I've already had some people reach out who've made bow ties and tabletops and all sorts of things. It's great to see. Keep it up, guys. Please let me know if you do it. Hashtag pattern plywood. And yeah, other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.